In Capital News tonight, 94 illegal immigrants arrested in a 6-day operation in Dar es Salaam. The Ministry of Health starts implementing President's directives on guidelines for releasing bodies from hospitals and health centers. And in sports, absence of Bwana Samata and Simon Msuva at Taifa Stars training camp ahead of the friendly against Malawi on Sunday revealed. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. 94 illegal immigrants from Burundi, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya and Comoro have been arrested in Dar es Salaam during a 6-day operation on illegal immigrants. The Immigration Department has also collected $50,400 as fines from 84 nationals from China, India, Egypt, Philippines, Lebanon, Sri Lanka, Kenya and Nepal after staying in the country illegally. The Office of Immigration in Dar es Salaam has continued efforts of combating illegal immigrants. From 1st to 7th of June, we have arrested a total of 90 illegal immigrants from DRC, Comoro and Kenya. We have also collected $50,000 fine from foreign workers who were working in different companies and institutions. Fines that were collected from Special Pass includes people from China, India, Egypt, Philippines, Malawi, Sri Lanka, Kenya, Lebanon and Nepal.
Kupitia watu kama 84.
The day after President Samia Suluhu Hassan banned the hospitals from preventing the release of bodies of deceased patients to relatives who have not cleared medical bills, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Professor Abel Makubi, has said notification and guidelines on the directives have been dispatched to health centers and hospitals around the country. On issues of deceased bodies, whether the person was given penalty or not, we don't want to see any deceased body being prevented under any circumstances. These are also directives from Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan. Regarding the issue of pandemic, people should continue to take precautions with high speed as how we handled the disease last year.
Tukampoteza kama akawa marehemu. Naomba aruhusiwe akazikwe.
The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, has said that the situation in the Isles is stable and that there is no religious discrimination, while on their part religious leaders gave their stand on leaders from the Association for Islamic Mobilization and Propagation facing terrorism allegations. I have tried to maintain peace in the country and end issues of discrimination in our communities. As right now we are united, let us put all efforts in building our economy. People have high hopes with the current government. There are some of our colleagues who have been detained for a very long time. It is high time now for justice to be served.
Imefika wakati mamlaka zinazohusika wajaribu kuliangalie tena hili jambo.
12 buses traveling from Beira to various regions in the country were prohibited from leaving their bus terminal by the traffic police force after they were found to be unsafe for transportation of passengers.
Zoezi hili linaloendelea ni watangazie madereva.
I announced to drivers that this special operation is to ensure that all vehicles on our roads are in good condition. It is illegal to allow vehicles that are in bad conditions to be on the road. Not only them, even for vehicles without registration numbers are also not allowed to be seen on our roads. I urge all drivers to make sure that before bringing your bus at the stand, make sure that it is in good condition. From today's inspection, out of 32 buses, 12 buses cannot continue with their trips for the safety of passengers.
Naomba pia na abiria watuelewe. Lengo letu sio kuwafanya msiendelee na safari. Lengo la jeshi la polisi ni kuhakikisha kwamba safari mnayokwenda inakuwa safari salama.
With unveiling of the government budget for the 2021-2022 financial year just hours away, some members of parliament have said they expect to get answers on the problem of floods in Dar es Salaam, ghost workers, those who were removed from public service due to fake academic certificates, and that they expect to see a budget that will address the needs of low-income people.
One
of the things that we have been crying for in Dar es Salaam region is the issue of floods. Even if it rains continuously for 1 hour, the whole city stands still. The budget is focusing on inclusive economy, a move that is determined to implement development projects by reaching out to many low-income earners. The Executive Director of the World Bank for Africa, Dr. Taufila Nyamadzabo, has said the bank is satisfied with the performance of Tanzania in implementation of Tanzania's Social Action Fund and pledged to increase funds for the program. He made this statement after visiting some of the beneficiaries of TASAF in Dodoma.
The first one is to reduce poverty in the country to be able to develop further.
What the program is doing, and we look forward to have a continuation of support. And our President, His Excellency, I think a month ago, talked about the program, seeing it beyond TASAF 3 second part. That's 2023. We need to think in the big picture, how are we going to continue to support, despite the fact we know some are being graduated in between, but we can think other to support, because 2-3 years is not enough to make sure everybody, the poverty can be reduced.
The water generation plant at Lower Ruvu, which has been switched off yesterday morning to allow repair work on a main water pipe which had broken at Victoria area, Dar es Salaam, has started to work, with water services resuming back to normal.
Kwa kubwa kwa sababu bomba inchi 54 na ambalo lilibomoka tena usiku, kwa ikabidi kwanza kazi upya, lakini kwa sasa hivi kazi imekwisha kukamilika kama mnavyoona, na tumeshafungulia maji kutoka mtambo wetu wa Ruvu chini, na wananchi wa Bagamoyo, Mapinga, Kerege, Bunju wanapata maji kuanzia sasa, na matanki yetu ya Kimara tunafungulia maji baada ya nusu saa ijayo. Nadhani baada ya kama muda wa masaa mawili watakuwa wamekuja kupata maji. Katikati ya jiji maji yalipatikana sababu tulidivert maji ya Ruvu juu, kwa hiyo kapita barabara Morogoro, kwa katikati ya jiji mpaka Ikulu. Changamoto ile tulimanage kwa sababu tulichukua maji ya mto Ruvu kupitia mtambo wa Ruvu juu.
The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has joined various leaders who include retired President Jakaya Kikwete to pay last respects of the body of veteran politician Crescent Majiatanga Mzindakaya at a service that was held at St. Peter's Catholic Church. The veteran politician passed away on June 7th at Muhimbili National Hospital, where He had been undergoing medical treatment. He is expected to be laid to rest on 12th of June at his home village in Sumbawanga. In another development, President Samia Suluhu Hassan has appointed Jafar Mohammed Nahiu as Director of Directorate of Presidential Communications State House with effect from today, 9th June 2021. Before his appointment, Mr. Haniu was the Managing Director of Africa Media Group Limited. He replaced Gerson Msigwa, who was appointed as the Director of Tanzania Information Services and Government Spokesperson. And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly. And in international news, the government of Kenya has, through its military force, KDF, has sent food and medicine aid to Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, to support victims of the Mount Nyiragongo volcano eruption, which caused many residents to flee. KDF has said that the support is implementation of cooperation relations between Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Fika hapa leo na hizi ndege mbili kuleta chakula na dawa.
We are here to bring food and medicines to our brothers and sisters in Congo who were affected from the volcano eruption. Many people were affected. On behalf of Honorable President Uhuru Kenyatta, the government and all Kenyans, we have seen it is important to extend a hand to our fellows in the RC. Today we came with 2 planes loaded with the items, and 2 more planes will arrive tomorrow with more supplies. With Uganda expected to close its borders due to the coronavirus pandemic, residents along the border between Uganda and Kenya in Busia area have expressed concern that should Uganda take such measures, trade between the 2 countries will be affected.
Mpaka ukifungwa kabisa upande wa Uganda, kuna mambo mengi ya kibiashara na ya kimaisha ambayo sisi wa Kenya tunategemea kutoka Uganda. Tutakuwa tumeathirika pakubwa.
Tutakuwa affected sana kwa sababu huko hii border ndio tunategemea kupeleka watu wa madereva sana sisi hapa madereva.
President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda has announced new cabinet ministers and ministers of state while surprising Ugandans by appointing women to major key posts of Vice President and Prime Minister. The list of the new leaders has come after the country has gone more than 3 weeks without a cabinet after President Museveni dissolved one in place on the day of his swearing-in on May 12, 2021. The list includes 32 cabinet ministers and 50 state ministers, while his wife, Janet Museveni, has been appointed as the Minister of Education. Across Europe, the coronavirus pandemic is receding and people are starting to see some semblance of normality return. Yet optimism is the caution kind, and governments are facing the dual challenge of meeting their vaccination responsibilities both for their populations and those around the world. Let's get more on this from William Gluckroft in Berlin, the correspondent with our partner Deutsche Welle. William, how are things where you are?
Well, summer has finally arrived to Germany and all around Europe, and people want to get out to enjoy it. And the pandemic for now seems to be cooperating. All the bad numbers are down. Infections, hospitalizations, deaths, and the good numbers, vaccinations, are up. At least 46% of people in Germany have at least 1 dose. About half of that, they're fully vaccinated. And similar numbers are all around Europe, and that's allowing places to open up. Of course, it's different all around Germany and even all around Europe, of course, but generally restaurants and places to drink and eat, they're open, even for seating inside with tests. Mask use, of course, is still required on public transport and generally out in public. And of course, employers still have to, at least here in Berlin, have to allow working from home, and they have to allow employees to be able to get tested for those who have to come in. So a lot of progress being made, but still a lot left to go.
Okay, so what concerns remain for officials there?
Well, we were here last year, of course, when the incidence rate went down, where things seemed to be more relaxed, only to get hit again with the second and third waves in the fall and the winter months. So officials don't want to repeat that now that people are getting out, going to travel more. Rules are relaxing. And it's important to note that although the numbers are down, way down from what we saw over the winter, they're still higher than this point last year when there was that lull. They're actually about where they were in parts of the first wave that, of course, shut down so much of Germany and Europe. So it really is a matter of perspective. It is all relative, of course. Things feel good in comparison to those dark days in the winter, but we're still not where we need to be.
So what attentions is the vaccine distribution getting for other parts of the world?
That's right. Now that things seem to be more relaxed here, more open, things to be going in a good way, especially with vaccinations here in Germany and across Europe, there's even more pressure for rich countries to be helping lower and middle income countries get the vaccines they need to end the pandemic everywhere, not just here. The WHO, for example, says that 75% of all doses worldwide have gone to just 10 countries, with less than 1% going to lower income countries, countries with low GDP. And they want, of course, to change that primarily through COVAX, the initiative to get vaccines to lower and middle income countries. There was, of course, a donor conference recently where they raised a surprising $2.4 billion, more than they were expecting, which was very good for COVAX. They think they can get enough doses to at least cover 30% of populations in 91 countries by early 2022 at the latest. But again, there's a lot of short-term shortfalls that have to be made up, especially with India having supply problems and its own country to take care of. There's hundreds of millions of doses still left to get to COVAX, to those lower and middle income countries. And Europe needs to step up and make sure that it is fulfilling its responsibilities and fulfilling its pledges that it's giving.
Thank you so much, William, for those updates. And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly after the break. We'll be right back.
To Business Edition and meet business leaders and experts who keep you informed on business and economic developments taking place in the country, such as tourism, construction, energy, transport, mining, agriculture, communication, banking, real estate, and more. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m. only on Capital Television.
Welcome back, and in business news. The Minister of Agriculture, Professor Adolf Mkenda, has directed Tanzania Fertilizer Regulatory Authority, TFRA, to start issuing permits for fertilizer that has already entered the country instead of the ministry, in order to speed up fertilizer imports and address the problem of fertilizer shortage. Permits for selling imported fertilizer will be issued by TFRA online in order to increase efficiency.
Kwenda Burundi, kwenda Kongo na kadhalika ili kuongeza ufanisi. Mimi kabisa katika hiyo.
We hope that all key stakeholders are going to take the opportunity to ensure that once they get permits, they will be able to export the product to other countries. The system will allow simplification of fertilizer trade in the country. Consumers in Iringa region have started to get some relief after a decline in prices for sunflower oil, which have gone down from 130,000 shillings to 70,000 shillings for 20 liters of the edible oil. Edible oil prices have now gone down. I used to buy one bucket of oil for 130,000. Right now it has gone down to 70,000 shillings, where 1 liter of oil is sold at 4,000 shillings. Right now the situation is at ease. We can at least make profit. The speed of implementation of development projects being implemented in villages around the Untitled Community Wildlife Management Area in Longido Area District, Arusha region, has stalled due to decline in tourists visiting at the area due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Na imeathiri pakubwa sana. Hata wanajamii wetu ambao tulitarajia wapate fedha.
A lot of people have been affected since almost 50% of their incomes is dependent on tourism activities.
Tuliandaa utaratibu huu wa kuwaleta katika eneo letu.
We came up with the idea so that they could learn several things, while in the meantime the efforts are preparations for receiving many visitors as we are heading towards the business season.
Eneo letu, idadi ya wanyama ambao wanapatikana, lakini pia kuangalia jiografia ya eneo letu kwa ujumla.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next.
This week on Culinary Delights.
One bite, many expressions.
One bite, many expressions.
Coffee caramel buns.
Okay.
It's coffee caramel topping,
Okay.
and the dough. Inside there is unsalted butter.
Okay.
And we bake this one for 15 minutes.
Okay.
And you will find the golden brown.
For today, we'll be making hot saffron latte. As you can see, it has changed the color.
On Sunday at 7:30 p.m. only on Capital Television.
Back and in sports news tonight. The national football team Taifa Stars assistant coach Juma Mgunda has revealed the reason Bwana Samata and Simon Suva have not reported to camp ahead of the friendly against Malawi on Sunday. Here's more on the report.
The Stars will welcome the Flames at Benjamin Mkapa Stadium as part of their preparations for the upcoming World Cup qualifying matches against DR Congo, Benin and Madagascar. Mgunda has now explained that Samata's absence has been occasioned by family issues he's attending in Tanzania, while Msuva is yet to arrive in the country from Morocco as his team Wydad have a CAF Champions League fixture. On how the players responded to training on Monday, Mgunda said, "We have started training well. We started training on Monday and everything is okay. It is good to say the morale in camp is very positive and the players are looking sharp and ready. And this is because of these players are coming from teams that are active in the local league."
Simba Sports Club have decided to approach Kenya defender Joash Onyango to negotiate a contract extension in order to prevent him from joining Premier Soccer League side Orlando Pirates. Here's more on the story.
Onyango signed a 2-year contract with Wekundu Msimbazi before the current season began and has been an outstanding figure for the Tanzanian champions since. His performances have attracted interest, especially from South Africa, and Simba have now reached out to the defender to negotiate a new deal that will potentially see him stay longer. Simba's Chief Executive Officer, Barbara Gonzalez, has confirmed Onyango and his agent have been welcomed to the table for a possible new bumper deal, but the player has yet to respond. The Simba board was initially divided on the length of the contract that Onyango ought to have been given when he signed in 2020.
Nikola Jokic was selected with the 41st draft pick when he entered the NBA 7 years ago. Now, by overwhelming consensus, he is #1. Here's more on the story.
This big man was revealed on Tuesday as NBA's most valuable player for 2020-21, making him by far the lowest draft pick ever to win the award. The Joker now has his name etched alongside the greatest players in league history, which surely seemed unlikely when he was that unheralded prospect out of Sombor, Serbia in 2014. Djokic was a runaway winner, getting 91 of the 101 first-place ballots cast, 100 of them from a global panel of sports writers and broadcasters who cover the league, the other being an aggregate first-place ballot compiled from the fan voting. That fan vote was the outlier. It went to 2011 NBA MVP Derrick Rose of the New York Knicks. The only vote Rose got.
And Wolves have appointed Bruno Lage as their new head coach 3 weeks after parting company with Nuno Espirito Santo. Here are more details.
Lage returns to English football, having worked as Carlos Carvalhal's assistant manager at Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea. Wolves' recruitment process was complicated by the need to obtain a work permit for Nuno's Portuguese compatriot as a result of a change to employment regulations after Brexit. The 45-year-old's last job was at Benfica, whom he guided to the Portuguese title in 2019 with a team featuring Ruben Dias, now at Manchester City, and was voted Portugal's Manager of the Year. The next season was less successful and he was replaced in June 2020 after his team endured a wretched end to the campaign and finished runners-up to Porto.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbo. Thank you for watching and good night.